Allow the two children to attend the budget. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind. Like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn ayé. Máyégún ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ayé. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ayé. Máyégún ti dé.
Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. And thank you very much for joining me, brethren, tonight. I believe you must have read the caption of it. And also the description of the broadcast as well. Like it, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And thanks to those of you who have done that already. As always, thank you. So tonight, again, I have come with loads of gists. However, we are going to be taking them one after the other and see how many of them time will permit us in reviewing. So tonight, I have for you a part of Athiefku's interview, the controversial one where he took a dig at Abiola as a sex predator, sexual harasser. He also spoke about the time he started running to become your president in that contraption since 1992. And he spoke also of why he never, sort of bonded with Wike, why he didn't pick Wike in 2023, why he picked Peter Obi in 2019. And then he gave a hint also of what the media described as Athiefku gave no clear answer if he was running in 2027, right? In what the media described as that was actually what Athiefku said happened in 2015 or 2014 when they formed APC, Ebekebe, and 4 or so of them ran to become president at the time, and then Bokohari became the chosen one. So tonight we are starting our nothing like our review and expose. We started that from the Senate again, because you remember yesterday that they couldn't even have a pretty much like they couldn't have decent conversation on if it was okay to immortalize the man that conducted the 1993 June 12 election, an election adjudged to have been won by MKO Abiola, but got annulled by his friend Babangida. The Babangida that a few weeks ago, this hypocrite gathered together in Abuja, singing the praises of the same Babangida, and at the end of the night, they all pulled over 17 billion naira gift to give this Babangida. However, it seems like a coordinated campaign or so, as Humphrey Nwosu, right? So probably just take the fall as usual. Some senators from Abaribe and some senators from eastern part of Nigeria and some of them from northern part of Nigeria who signed a bill to name the INEC head office or headquarters in Abuja, the building, to name the building after Nwosu. So, and it became a heated kind of like debate when some of the APC, Ebekebe's senators objected, and they gave their reasons, because to them, June 12th nullification is blamed on Nwosu. It was Nwosu who gave Babangida the room to successfully nullify the election of MKO. Therefore, he deserves no honor posthumously. He just died, by the way. I actually thought he died a while back, because the last interview of his that I remember very well was the one he made when he wrote a book about this June 12 himself. And I think that was about 10, 12 or so years ago, where he told you his own side of the story. I even have a clip from that interview for us tonight. But how did it go in the National Assembly between all of these senators? So that is where we're going to start from this evening. The conversation around it, as well as how some of these guys were trying to rewrite the history, because that's what they do anyway. I rewrite the history. MKO Abiola, the winner of the election, but got denied, is today regarded as a former president in Nigeria. There was a time that, Atiefku and his gang under Bokohari mounted pressure to honor the June 12th day as a national holiday, not just the Southwest holiday, but holiday for the entire country, that they had to actually declare a public holiday. And it was granted, And like I said, the man that annulled the election is still alive, right? The one that conducted the election is dead now. So the dead one is to be blamed for the decision of the one still living. Well, the debate went doors. So let's go in there and check out how it all started. I think it was Oshiomole that started something like. Let's go take a look.
This motion, which says, quote, conscious of his courageous defense of the democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential election that led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed MKO Abiola as the winner of the election. This is manipulating and wrestling with the truth. June 12 became famous because Nigerians who voted and the elections results already announced, people were at liberty to do their calculation. But because the chief electoral officer failed to formally announce the figures and declare the winner, the Nigerian people on their own talk about, if you look at the media review, the man who is widely believed to have won the election, because the man who should have announced it failed to do so. The second paragraph, or the fourth paragraph, informed that he stood his ground during Nigeria electoral wishes and aspirations were realized, which culminated in June 12 being marked as authentic democratic day due to his unwavering stand as an umpire. Sir, again, this is not correct. President Muhammadu Buhari, to his credit, decided, and may God bless him for that, said what Nigerians already knew, but coming from a city head of state and president that gave it the currency, he said everybody knew that MKO Abiola won June, election that was conducted on June 12th. Nigerians were really in pain because nobody is able to quote where Professor Nwosu announced the results. It is his failure to announce the result, whether other threat or other whatever forces that prevented him from so doing, that Nigerians were unable to say that he was declared the winner. In fact, I was active in that struggle. When we met with the late General Sani Abacha, he said the reason he decided to order the detention of MKO Abiola was that MKO Abiola proclaimed himself as the winner of the election and therefore as president. It was on that basis Abiola was arrested and he died in detention. If Professor Nwosu had the courage, I emphasize courage as is being suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences. After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing. We cannot distort history in this Senate. We must be seen to have sentiments that reflect the average feeling of the average Nigerian. Professor Nwosu, when it mattered most, his courage failed him. And when you give national honors and recognition, you do so for people who have shown courage, who have paid the supreme price, or who were ready to pay that price. Lastly, cognizance of the fact that Professor Nwosu laid a landmark foundation, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason it is even more painful that you allegedly have all this courage to conduct elections. I'm on record as saying that Professor Nwosu and President Babangida fooled 18 million Nigerians that voted. Nwosu is not on record before his death as admitting that before I die, let me confess that there was a winner.
You have 1 second. You have 2 seconds remaining.
Therefore, let me round up, Mr. President. I thank you for your because this is very important. If you couldn't, this is my last point, sir. I appreciate. This is my last point. So I want my in-laws to understand. If he was afraid of the gun, because we are under dictatorship, some people might say, well, but there were Nigerians who were protesting under the gun without minding the consequences. After the end of Babangida's tenure, the death of Abiola, the birth of the new democracy that produced President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Obasanjo. Since then, I would have expected Nwosu to say, either on his birthday or on any special occasion, now that we are back to democracy, there is freedom of speech, even the freedom to lie. I would have expected Nwosu to be able to say, I could not declare these numbers.
Thank you.
Now, on my record, Abiola won this election.
Thank you. Senator Osita, you have the floor.
He died without confession.
Thank you.
That he died without confession cannot be rewarded.
Thank you, Senator Osita.
He cannot be rewarded.
Senator Osita Ongu, you have the floor.
SP. Thank you, Mr. President.
You all speak. No, everybody will speak, and then we put the question.
Is when it's my turn that you are not saying people should speak for 1 minute, and even you also forgot that you have called me. Something must be wrong.
Show your name. It's an oversight.
Yeah, Mr. President, my name is Osita Izuraso. I represent Imo West. I just want to draw the attention of the Secretariat to the fact that I'm one of the sponsors of this motion, and they wrote Imo North for me. It should be Imo West, not Imo North.
Secretariat, please take note.
Now, Mr.
The sponsor, that stands corrected.
Mr. President, it is important that we do not sit here to distort history. We are legislators, and we are representing the people. Take a census of Nigerians and ask them what they think about Professor Humphrey Nwosu. They will tell you he was a hero. So for us to sit here now and begin to distort history is not fair for our democracy. It's not even good for the country. Mr. President, I want to draw your attention to what happened on June 10. We're talking about June 12. Justice Ibeme, as early as 9:30 on June 10th, said there will be no election. And Professor Humphrey Nwosu tried to reach the head of state. He couldn't reach him. He couldn't reach the Attorney General. And there was an emergency meeting of National Defense and Security Council, which Professor Humphrey Nwosu audaciously attended uninvited, and told them that the materials have been sent out and that he was ready for the election. Uninvited in the military council, he went there. That is courage of the highest order. And it was after he spoke that President Ibrahim Babangida have no choice than to ask him to conduct the election. Mr. President, we have human beings who are alive. Today, Mr. Boss Mustafa, the immediate past SDF, and late Mohamed Waziri, we are the SDP returning agents at the collection center. Yesterday, when this matter broke up, I had to call Boss Mustafa. I had to call him. I said, Boss Mustafa, what happened at the collection center? And he narrated to me how courageous Humphrey Nwosu was. And said, without Humphrey Nwosu's courage, you can't even talk about election. In fact, Bokohari Bello, who was INEC legal director, was the one that was running in between Humphrey Nwosu and the NDSC. And Bokohari Bello is still alive. He will testify to you how courageous Humphrey Nwosu was in that exercise. Mr. President, Senator.
Thank you. You have 1 second remaining. I give you more time.
No, yes, please.
Your protest because you protested.
Yes,
so,
please.
So but your time is off. 1 second.
No, Adam Oshimole wanted to distort history. I won't let him do that. Humphrey Nwosu, in his book titled Laying the Foundation for Nigerian Democracy, Laying the Foundation for Nigerian Democracy, my account of June 12th.
Thank you. Your time is off.
Entire result.
I mean, that's what they do, you know. If supposed distinguished, respected senators, allegedly, by the way, because I don't get respect for them. Okay? What they do most of the time, and what Adams Oshiomhole also loves to do, is to distort history. He's very good at that. He will speak on and on and on. He will compare this with that, this and that, but all bullshit, lies. You know? So Oshiomhole, Nwosu was practically in on it to deny MKO Abiola's election. That's kind of his own position, because to him, if truly the military threatened him, and somehow some military guys threatened him not to conduct the election, and he went on like he still went on to conduct the election, he should be bold enough to announce the result as well. But the truth of the matter is that the election result was actually being announced until, you know, a court ordered the stoppage of the announcement. And then it became a court case. Now, another part where Adams Oshiomhole also said, Nwosu till he dies, he never admitted that Abiola won the election, blah, 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 from that nonsense he said, right? But like I said, here is part of the interview that Nwosu himself granted to our own Omoyele years back on this same subject. In between, okay, we'll continue with the debate on it, but Nwosu, the old man himself.
The next step was I was summoned at the level of the National Defense Security and Defense Council.
Headed by Babangida.
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. They said, okay, that a committee headed by Abacha should find a solution to the problem. I said, how do we find a problem? We should be allowed to conclude what we started. They said, Abacha. In that committee, I'm quoting names. Abacha was in it. Nyako. Nyako was in it. General Aliyu Gusso was in it. David Mark was in it. Was the Minister of Communication. I was in it. Secretary of the Commission, Director of Legal Services was in it. Professor Deria, National Commissioner representing River State. We met in Abacha. When we met in Abacha's house, guest house in Abuja, he set another subcommittee, including myself, Akpambo, late now, Akilu, the Secretary of the Commission, I think one other advisor-in-law in the State House. When we got at that subcommittee level, I told them, gentlemen, there is nothing for us to meet. The law is clear. Elections have been conducted. Results have been collected. The only one remaining is that of Taraba, and he had come along with it. Please allow us to conclude. We are a technical body. We are not politicians. In any case, if you don't want us to release the result, you should call Abiola and Tofa, or negotiate with Abiola that Abiola was the winner. Well, you know, military. The military personnel in it were afraid. They said, okay, you report, you are the chairman of the commission. We went back to Abacha's guest house, and I reported, well, sir, the law that allowed us to conclude this election made no provision for this technical body, for your committee. You should allow us to conclude the result with that of Taraba and announce it. Or you call in Abiola and negotiate with him. He shouted on me, who are you to tell us what to do? You are not a member of National Defense and Security Council. You are not. The council and the court decided you should not conduct the election. You went ahead and conducted the election, that it was illegal. You will recall, throughout Abacha's regime, his Minister for Information regarded our election as illegal. He said, well, you are not a member. Go to Aso Rock, where all of us will now take a decision. What will happen? Call all your national commissioners. That was, it's a military regime. So, because many people didn't know what, so I was to call my secretary to invite all my national commissioners to come to Aso Rock. It was David Mark. He was then the Minister of Communication, who called, used mobile. That's when the mobile was starting. He called myself, Andrew Mana. I'm mentioning them. Called, you all wanted at Aso Rock. We went there. Here was a full meeting.
Which date was that?
Was around 18 of yes, all this 18 June. When we got there, Babangida said, NEC, National Electoral Commission, what is your position on this election? I answered, I was the boss. Leadership of NEC stops with me. I said, sir, allow us just 2 minutes so that it will not be Humphrey Nwosu's decision. It will be that of National Electoral Commission. He said, okay, 2 minutes. We went to one of the rooms. He said, gentlemen, ladies and Eruku was a lady National Commission. We don't have anything to do with politics of this. They should allow us to conclude and announce whoever did not like the outcome should go to tribunal. That's the provision of the law. You know, we were talking of institutions. Allow institutions to work. Whoever didn't like it should go to tribunal.
Humphrey Nwosu is dead now, though. So that was, one detailed interview. I still have more. I just thought I should put that in between because of the rhetoric of Oshiomole, But the conversation on whether they should name a building after him or not, by the same people that honored Babangida, the guy that annulled the election itself, that they were singing his praises here and there just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. What's that? So the continuation of and those who are also like defending why it must be honored and all of that stuff. Yeah. Listen to this.
There is this fact. In whatsoever we do, one day we are going to live here, we are going to leave the world, and we are going to be remembered by what we have done. If you do well, posterity will remember you for good. We are now judging or talking about Humphrey Nwosu. He has finished his course. Now it is left for his creator to judge him. Yes, he was here. He did his best. He conducted an election. He tried his best midway. Everything was truncated. And he was not courageous enough to speak out. There are others after him that also work in INEC and did a lot of work there. One thing we cannot take away from Humphrey Nwosu is that he tried his best. But we need to be careful. It is the responsibility of the executive to name any structure after anybody. It is also the responsibility of the executive to give national awards to whomsoever they feel is deserving of it. And we know our president now, he was a factor and he was part of those that struggled for the actualization of June 12. He worked hard for it. He worked hard for it. President Obasanjo was there as president for 8 years. He did not name anything after Nwosu. Nothing was mentioned about him. Even Yaradua was there. President Goodluck Jonathan was there. After Goodluck Jonathan, Buhari was there for 8 years. And now that Humphrey Nwosu is gone, you want President of Tinubu to name structures after Nwosu. It will not happen. It will not happen. Tinubu will not do that. So we don't need to force him to do anything like that. So let's just limit ourselves with what we can manage here. We rise up, say a 1 minute silence for him. That is over. That is over. Let's not go beyond what we can control. That is what I will say here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Engineer Patrick Seyi Makinde. I represent the good people of Imo North. Mr. President and my fellow colleagues, to a very good extent, I'm involved to know what happened and have the history. And I will tell you, but for those who, no, don't go to being young. Maybe I'm elder to some people on this issue. For those who are saying he didn't announce the result, he was under military dictatorship. I'm coming. Now, when you are given a signal not to announce results, not to release the results, and he quickly released all the results within his reach immediately. That one. And because of that, they foresaw his courage going ahead to announce the result and sent to whisk him out. Now, where do you expect him to announce the result? Is it when he is already in the hands of the military? Was there any television there or radio station where he would take to announce the results? Two, somebody has acknowledged that he annulled the June 12th election. How else do you want? Again, If not that he released such results, how would you have known that that Abiola won the election? Another side of it, who asked Abiola to come and take over and hand over to him? Again, the vice presidential candidate left the mandate to go and accept ministerial appointment under the military. But he was recognized. Last year we were there in a colloquium and he was recognized. I want to say, it is good that we put primordial sentiments apart. Recognize, look, Humphrey Nwosu gave us the best method of conducting election in this country. That if we follow suit, we will not have issues. Humphrey Nwosu is a master in electoral issues. I cannot see the reason that someone will wake up to say, oh, he had no result. How? The person who had no result has accepted and apologized. And we accept the apology of this, our general, our former president. Why are we going back to heap it on a person, a saint, somebody who should call a saint on electoral matters in Nigeria, somebody who conducted the best election in this country that have been adjudged, no election that have been conducted that can equal what he did. It is, I am saying, please, we should give honor to whom honor is due.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a problem.
I represent Enugu.
And please, two minutes so that others will speak. Two minutes.
Mr. President, I'll be faster. I want to actually remind us that whether we speak for or against, Humphrey Nwosu will be buried tomorrow. I also want to remind us that just recently, the former president, Ibrahim Babangida, held an event lately, which everybody, even several people here attended, including the current president of the country. And everybody came up, because he's alive, to speak good of him. If Humphrey Nwosu was doing a colloquium today, Nigerians will still go the same way they lined up to speak good of IBB. And I also want to remind us that Humphrey Nwosu was the chairman during a military regime. There was no way he would have announced a result with a gun placed on his head. Mr. President, even anybody who wants to be Anthony, who wants to say I'm going to refer to Julius Caesar, French Roman countrymen have come to bury Caesar, not to praise him, which is what Senator Ashimole can take up. You can just bury the dead if you don't want to praise him, and allow those who want to praise him to praise him. No matter how much we speak here today, it will not remove the fact that some of us see Humphrey Nwosu as a hero and needs to be immortalized. Mr. President, for the respect of the dead.
I don't know if you can understand what these whole exchanges tells you about the contraption yet. I will help you. Babangida, right? An Hausa northerner, conducted an election which was led or headed by an Igbo man, and a Yoruba man won the election. They were releasing the results. The available result already showed that MKO Abiola was going to become, the first civilian president after Shagari, Then Abacha, a Kanuri Hausa or so as well, a northerner, who was in the National Security Team or whatever it is, Supreme Council of the military at the time, was averse to a civilian rule. Therefore, they started the process of sabotaging the electoral process. First, they tried to stop the election from happening. But an Igbo man that led the election commission insisted that the election would hold. And indeed, the election held. So the man was announcing results when the Abacha and their gang got a hold of him. Plus the other, you hear the part, plus the part where the Nigerian court actually issued and gave a judgment or court order to stop the announcements. And then after that, this Igbo man was removed as the next chairman. And the rest of the country went into a very long time campaign against the campaign of terror of Abacha. People lost their lives, including the winner, who was a Yoruba man. So fast forward to a year or so after that, a Yoruba man was made the president of Nigeria in what was then believed to be an arrangement to compensate the Yorubas for their loss. You know? And the guys behind the annulment of the election, remember, they are Hausa, Kanuri, Fulani, and the rest of them from northern Nigeria. Those who had the power to actually, like, the person who actually announced the annulment. But fast forward it to 25 years after, the people who became victims of the annulment, they are now friends. Supposedly victims, so they are now friends with the person that annulled the election. They are happy to be his pal. They go to him all the time for political endorsement whenever they are running for political offices. Then again, like I said, 26 years or so later in that same democracy, your Nigerian senators, APC senators, are personally reminding us that annulment of the election is unforgivable, even though the person that annulled it is their boss today. They all go to him to prostrate and greet, other stuff for his endorsements. But they blame the Igbo man for not being courageous enough to declare Abiola winner, even if they were to kill him or what have you. It doesn't matter. He should have. We are angry with him. That is that we can, but they are not happy. I mean, so they are not angry with Babangida. You getting it, right? Okay. Here is the other part of that conversation. Maybe you will get it, and if you don't get it, forget about it.
Vote, please, Mr. President.
You want to speak? Okay.
Distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dr. Taitu Statengizam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, as you can see, this issue has generated a lot of interest, not just because of the personality involved. It is because INEC, being a very critical institution in the promotion, advancement of democracy, would naturally attract attention, either for good or bad. I want us to situate our debate in the context of national service and intellectual excellence, which Professor Humphrey Nwosu is supposed to exemplify. Nwosu was a professor of political science, someone who by training was supposed to deliver excellent election to Nigeria. Humphrey Nwosu was also appointed for national service. From these two backgrounds, he did not achieve any of them.
They say to whom much is given, much is expected. A professor of political science heading INEC could not deliver result. That is how you can assess him. It doesn't matter whether the circumstances were positive or not. If it were not positive for him to do so, he would have resigned. He didn't resign, which means he stood out to do the job. So on that score, he did not succeed. Now, national service. When you are called to serve the country, what you are supposed to do is to go to every extent to defend and deliver your mandate. As far as we are concerned, this gentleman did not conduct himself properly enough to deserve any national recognition at this moment. He did not deliver.
Thank you. My colleagues.
See, that's why he's speaking like that. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, this is one issue I have tried as much as possible to avoid. Yesterday, when my brother, Senator Abaribe, brought this matter up, I took up and said, no, I will not allow this to happen. Because he's about to remind me a very sad memory. And I'm speaking not along party line or ethnic or whatsoever, as I've watched and listened to the contribution thus far. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, as a result of the action and inaction of Professor Humphrey Nwosu, I lost my immediate junior brother. He died right behind me for him refusing to do or carry out his duty as INEC chairman. Mr. President, many of my colleagues have stood up here and said he conducted the free and fairest election. There are three different meanings and three different interpretations that we should look at: conducting election, releasing results, and announcing results. Yes, he conducted the election. Yes, School of Thought said he releases all the results. But you and I know releasing results is not the same thing as announcing results. He failed at the critical moment when he's supposed to salvage this democracy. Today we celebrate Abiola, or those people who have contributed to the success story of June 12, because they laid their life, they put their life on the line. If he is coward to withdraw in doing what is right at the critical moment, I think my brothers here should be fair enough. We are not saying you should not bring his matter out. And as my colleague have said, everybody that we have put before us that should be honored, we have celebrated them here. And don't forget, this is the highest law-making body of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where we should see ourselves as one and one Nigeria. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because it's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized as one of the very few Nigerians that have done the right thing. And I want to plead with my colleague. As I've said, I'm not speaking along the ethnicity line, along the party line, but I'm speaking as Nigeria, who witnessed the horrific moment.
Thank you. Once again,
of Professor Humphrey Nwosu to carry out his assignment at the most critical hour.
Thank you, now let's go to prayers. Prayer 1. All the federal government to immortalize him by naming the INEC headquarters in Abuja after him. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Further urges the federal government to posthumously honor him with national honors. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Extend condolences to his family and recognize their sacrifice in support of his work towards a better Nigeria. Those in favor of this prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. So, Hello? Sorry. Order. Order. Please, can somebody... Order. Can somebody move a motion so that we can have a bit silence in his honor and pray for you? Sri Oluwole Fasui.
Seconded.
A seconder.
Seconded.
Senator Samson Ekong.
My name is Ekong Samson. I represent Akwa Ibom South. I move to support the motion as ably moved that in view of his place in history, that this August Senate do observe a brief silence in memory of Professor Humphrey Nwosu. I so move most respectfully. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by Senator Cyril Oluwole Fasui from Ekiti State.
Are you getting it now? On this June 12th of a thing, are you getting the message now, or you still don't get it? The people responsible for the annulment of June 12 are heroes in the eyes of Athiefku and his fanboys, like that Yayi. Talking about his brother, my brother was killed in my presence. He has no brother. He had no brother to, no. But he had to say that in the Senate because nobody's going to fact check him and say, did his brother die during the June 12 protest? No. He had no brother that died during June 12. None. But he said it's emotional for him. It's such an emotional thing for me. You know, he didn't deserve it. So I don't understand. Like Babangida, just a few weeks ago, Babangida was given 17.9 billion naira. Yeah? And they were singing his praises of being a great leader. He's a leader that he did Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria, if not for you, Babangida, Nigeria will not be Kiniko. Here you get. And he used the occasion to tell everybody that, yes, I did it. I annulled the June 12th election. I take responsibility for it. And they gave him 17.9 billion naira to build a monument, to build a presidential library that is going to say Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida Presidential Library in his honor. Abacha has a stadium named after him in Kano. He has airports named after him in the north. They have streets named after him in the south. Abacha, the same Abacha. But Humphrey Nwosu, an Igbo man, is where they draw the line. You know, he should have fought more. He should have. Why didn't he do it? I'm not trying to be tribal. Not because I am tribal. I'm just saying that. How can he, an Igbo man, instead of him to you know? I mean, I feel bad. I'm so very sad. I'm very, very angry. Honestly speaking, Humphrey Nwosu, you didn't do well at all. But Babangida did well. Abacha did well. If Abacha was alive, Abacha would be like Abdusalami Abubakar, Babangida, Obasanjo. Yeah, he's going to be like them to all of you. One of your leaders. But here is what Nwosu himself said. You know, in that same interview, by the way, on the same subject when he was alive.
They said, you are reporting. Okay. We came out. Sir, this is the decision of the commission. Allow us to conclude this election and announce the result. And that we will challenge that letter, court decision, which Commissioner of Police served on me, that we should stop announcing it. We will go to Federal Court of Appeal, Kaduna Division. So he said, okay, you people are on your own.
Babangida said that.
The decision of there. He said, well, you know, in all this I've mentioned them. So went to court, not by the Attorney General of the Federation should have championed that position, but he did not. It was Director of Legal Services in NEC, Bello. He's still alive. No, Bokohari Bello. I mentioned in my book, went to Kaduna Court of Appeal, filed the papers. We submitted all the results, including that of Taraba, showing that Abiola won the election. Abiola was represented by Eke Ajay. Tofa was represented. The court held first sitting. Justice Oke Achike mentioned it. Oke Achike, late, may his soul rest in peace, was the chairman. He was ready to conclude. He ordered Abuja High Court to submit all matters relating to the election, all the results, and they were submitted to his court for accelerated hearing and decision for June 25th, 1993. Please. Now, this was done. Abiola was, he knew all that. And when you submit something to court, it becomes public document. Is it not? All the results were submitted to the court, appeal division, headed by Oke Achike, showing that Abiola won. Abiola knew. Why did Nigerian press not pick it from? Now, when this was to be done June 25th, the military quickly dissolved my commission on June 23rd.
But one quick question.
Yes.
That there was a pronouncement you made that this election is inconclusive.
Because the result was no.
Which date was that?
No, I can't quite remember, but it may have been in the book. The date, the inconclusive, that we were not allowed to announce it. It became a subject of court dispute, and all the results, as shown in this book, no other result, as shown in the court, submitted before June 20, before my commission was dissolved. All the election results were submitted. It became public document. And when my commission was dissolved on June 23, we were sacked.
Where did you go next?
What will I do when I'm no longer chairman?
Where did you go?
No, I was in Nigeria.
You went back to Enugu?
I went back to Enugu. I went, first when it was annulled,
Was there any time you were threatened physically, bodily harm?
No, I wasn't, to tell you the truth. Yeah. No person harmed me. Okay. But throughout Abacha's regime,
everybody was keeping a low profile.
Thank you. When June 12th is coming close, some police will around my
neighborhood.
Yes.
Just to make sure that you don't make any pronouncement.
Yes. Because we were dissolved. Because if I had made a pronouncement, I was no longer chairman, National Electoral Commission was no longer the appointed Oya.
So you're saying.
So that was Humphrey Nwosu about 12 or so years ago when he did publish a book explaining what happened. And yeah, the charlatans who are now making mockery of your democracy today, those ones who are now abusing this same public office, this same power, right? Majority of them at the time, yeah, they are pretty much almost unknown. But when you look at them today and what they have done to your democracy, and to the point that people are now calling on the military to come back and chase these criminals away. So historically, it's so important that this first half of this broadcast was done, all right? Because what the rogues in Nigeria have succeeded in doing is that since they probably believe that majority are not really interested in the political happenings, right? And the political players in their, in their country. So therefore, they go fill in the gap with lies, manipulated the history, just to drive a certain narrative and what have you. So that's why this first part was very, very important on Mayegun's diary political. Let's go to that of Athiefku. Athiefku just granted one bombastic interview, and it was like a direct blow to the people concerned. I'm talking about when he spoke about Tifnumbu, and then he spoke about Abiola, right? Or Wike. It seems direct enough that I am going to take us through that. Good enough. We're just talking about the June 12th, right? In what will later become annulled election in 1993. Atiku Abubakar, very young at the time, he wasn't this old, I believe, also contested to be the presidential candidate of the SDP in that 1993 convention, I believe. Was it Congress or convention? Anyway, so in this interview, Athiefku reminisced on that good old days and his own relationship with MKO Abiola, because he had to step down for MKO Abiola, right, when they were going for the second round of balloting at that Jos convention. Let's start with that. Okay, here is the point, right? Just to kind of remind you that 1993, 2003, 2013, 2023, 2025, that is 32 years ago. That Athiefku had wanted to be your president in that contraption. So the farthest he could go was to become Oban Paro's vice, and that also didn't end well. Here you get 32 years ago. Listen to this.
I want you to maybe compare that a bit to the last elections, 2023. Seyi Makinde held your hand and MKO Abiola's hand in the lead up to the primaries for the SDP presidential elections. And I wanted to ask, because you stepped down before the second round when Abiola and King were running against each other. Why did you step down? And there is the belief that you stepped down with the belief that you would be chosen as the vice presidential candidate, not Babagana Kingile, who ended up being chosen. At that point when you were not chosen as VP, why did you still go along with everything?
No, I think there have been some misinterpretation or misrepresentation of what actually happened, even though I had in the past addressed, circumstances surrounding that incident. And after the first ballot, I called the late Shehu Yaradua. He was in Kaduna because he was barred then from attending any political gathering. So I told him, I said, look, if you don't come to Jos, there is every likelihood that, Babagana Kingibe was going to be elected. And I know you didn't want it. So you better come to Jos, no matter how late. And he drove all the way from Kaduna to Jos. By the time he came to Jos, it was about 3-4 a.m. And he called for a meeting in Alhaji Ayakwande's house. I do not know what he discussed with the late MKO Abiola. I didn't know. I was not privy to the meeting, and he did not tell me. But when we got to the meeting in Ambassador Kwande's house, all what he told me was that Turaki, I said, yes, sir. He said, step down for MKO Abiola. I said, okay, sir. I've stepped down. So, not until, we
came back to Kaduna because after the second round and Abiola won, Abiola, late Seyi Makinde and myself were on the same flight. So Abiola dropped us in Kaduna and then proceeded to Lagos. It was in Kaduna that he was telling me this was what he agreed with MKO Abiola. So then, of course, we waited for a long time. You know, it took time before Abiola announced his running mate. What I now came to understand was that Abiola was put under pressure by the SDP governors then. They threatened him and said, look, if you don't take Kingibe, we are not going to support you. And the reason being that all of them got their tickets when Kingibe was the chairman of SDP. So, and Abiola felt that it was a risk worth taking. So, and I think he decided to discard, you know, the agreement he had with Lady Yaradua, and of course nominated Kingibe as running mate.
Athiefku. Then he was also asked, now that you were in the driver's seat, where you had to choose your own running mates in 2019, in 2023, especially, why did you reject Wike? His response.
I want you to maybe compare that a bit to the last elections, 2023, when you decided not to pick the current minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, as your running mate. And some people believe that might have cost you the election. Do you regret not choosing Wike as your running mate?
No, not at all. Because, you see, in 2019, when I won the ticket in Port Harcourt, and I came back here and then went straight to Abeokuta to meet my boss, President Obasanjo, and told him, Mr. President, I have got the ticket. So he asked me, he said, okay, from where is your running mate going to come from? I said, of course, it's either southeast or southwest. He said, no, leave southwest. Because I was there for 8 years. Go to southeast. I said, okay, sir. Do you have anybody in mind? He said, yes. The first person he suggested was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So I told him Ngozi was not a member of our party. I believe if I forward the name to the party, they will reject. He said, okay. He said, what about Soludo? I said, Soludo too was not a member of our party, so they will not accept. And I said, what about Peter Obi? I said, Peter Obi is a member of the party. He said, okay, take him. I said, okay, sir. So
that was it.
That was it. So I came back here in this very same building, very same room, and I saw a meeting of the party leaders. Then I was cited by Uche Secondus and others, including Wike himself, Tambuwal. I remember there were about 7 of them. I said, look, I have been to my boss, and this is what he said. Do you have any objection? You are leaders of the party and also leaders of the governance forum. They said, no, we don't have objection. I said, okay, go and announce. Now, I came under a lot of criticism after that. They said I did not consult with the party enough. So in 2023, I threw the whole thing to the party. I said, okay, set up a committee and recommend 3 people for me to pick as running mate. And they set up a committee, and they came with a recommendation, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I picked number 1.
Who are the other 2? Number 1, I'm guessing, was Okola.
Yes, and the other one was Wike. I think number 2, and number 3, I don't...
No.
Yeah.
Udom,
that's right.
Mm. So you didn't pick Wike solely because he was the number 1?
He wasn't.
again, Wike is said to have responded to that, yeah, fine, come and be president then. You know, that you did not regret not picking me. Oh, yeah, come and be president then. You know. Anyway, on their coalition, and if Athiefku will be running for presidency in 2027 again, here is his answer.
Okay. And now, let's focusing a bit on what's going on in Nigeria, with President Tinubu just recently declaring a state of emergency. Just earlier today, I believe, Obasanjo said that Nigeria's democracy is dying. Do you agree? Do you think the situation is very dire?
It is very dire, no doubt about that. I feel disappointed. The next generation after me, many of them had been governors, had been senators. Instead of me to see an improvement in the level of governance at the state level and so on and so forth, I don't see it. So I feel a little bit distressed.
But now you formed a coalition, and included in that coalition is Nasir El-Rufai and possibly Peter Obi. People are asking how successful that coalition can be going into 2027 if everyone heading the coalition wants to be president. So who do you think is going to head the coalition, and are you going to run for president again?
We had a similar, what will I say, marger in 2014. I mean, excuse me.
Sorry, sir.
And there were about 4 of us, is it 2 or 3? We all ran for president, and one of us emerged, and we all supported the one who emerged, and he won.
So you're going to run again?
I don't know, because there has to be, first of all, a viable platform, and more than any other time in the political history of this country, particularly since the return of democracy, I have not seen Nigeria in dire need of, an experience and...
Okay.
Leadership, this and finally, talking about women in politics, as well as the persecution or harassment that women in politics are subjected to. Using Natasha Akuti's case as a case study, here is where Athiefku directly called Abiola a sexual harasser. And funnily, right, Athiefku said the National Assembly is corrupt, their leadership is corrupt, no doubt, and he has no apology for that. Athiefku, they talk to somebody else is corrupt. And I don't know if I would call that oxymoron. I don't know. But it's kind of like ironical, by the way, right? But here, I haven't heard anything from Abiola since, because normally you would have probably heard them make a statement or, put out a statement that Athiefku called Abiola. It's been so it's been 48 hours now, right? That Athiefku called Abiola a sexual harasser, women harasser, for real, like a sexual predator. That is the number 3 man in that contraption. Now listen to this part.
I want to ask another question that I've been thinking about. When I was looking at the SDP primaries then, 92, the person who came forth was a woman, Sarah Jibril. She got 950 votes. Since then, it seems there's been a decline of women, participation in leadership positions in Nigeria. Do you think what I'm saying is an accurate representation of the situation for women in politics in Nigeria?
Yes, it is disheartening or disappointing. I don't know what to say, which word to use about the decline. I remember when we were in office, the president once called me and said, Mr. Vice President, in which states in the north can we get a woman governor? I think at that point in time I said, possibly in Taraba, and we tried, it didn't work. But eventually, I think I supported the late Mama Taraba, and she did very well. Actually, she won, and they just took it away from her. The courts, again, took it away from her. So, and I think the women need to be encouraged. They need to be encouraged and need to be supported. Yeah.
Yeah. The new president of Namibia is a woman, and her vice president is also a woman.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, she recently spoke a bit in support of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Addo, who's a woman senator in Nigeria, who's currently going possibly a recall process, but she's currently been suspended from the Senate. And a lot of people view her suspension as meaning that the PDP is weak or opposition is weak. Do you believe that the PDP has been weakened?
Yes, definitely. The PDP is weak because we have a compromised leadership in the party, and there is no doubt about that.
Were you surprised that the state of emergency passed so easily in the National Assembly?
I was not surprised because I know the leadership is corrupt. I have no apologies about that. And they could do anything. And the Senate president is known actually to be, to be having those type of character, even when he was a governor. So I got the reports quite a lot.
You got reports that when Bokohari Abiola was a governor, he was corrupt?
He was corrupt. Not only he was corrupt, but he was also in the habit of abusing, women. Yeah.
Oh, you got those reports before?
Yeah, I got that report before.
So there have also been allegations that there has been payment being made to legislators to vote, for or against what the president announced, the state of emergency and suspension of Fubara. But these allegations have come up before. I remember I spoke to Wabara, who's the former Senate president, and he said that even in the Senate during the third term era, that there were allegations of vote buying. Is this unusual for the Nigeria's National Assembly, or is this how things go?
Well, it all depends on the leadership of the particular time, of the National Assembly. Of course, during Wabara's time, we had allegations of bribery, and lots of money was brought on the floor of the National Assembly, by members to say, look, this is the money they brought to us, to buy us. But it's not the case with the current National Assembly. There have been allegations of corruption and vote buying by the executive on almost every aspect of the National Assembly. Yeah.
Athiefku, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to something else again. A few weeks back, well, it's been like reoccurring anyway, for months now. A few weeks back, the entire social media was saturated with the stories of Sharia courts in Yoruba land. It became very much controversial enough that some Yoruba governors or the governors in Yoruba land started making their own public declaration. No, it's never going to happen. Never. Not true. No Sharia. This and that. While the Sharia proponents continue to say whether we like it or not, Sharia is coming to Yoruba land. So a lot of us believe that the only reason why they are pushing their political Sharia is no other reason than the normal one, which is the religious control, subjugation. It is never about the religion itself. It's just about control. Something that I think majority of them in the southern part of Nigeria, especially in Yoruba land, where you have, some of those guys who want to, or who believes that one way or the other, they are northerners because they are connected by religion. So they've been fantasizing somehow, like fantasizing how it's going to be like to have a Sharia in Yoruba land. Oyo State, was where the news first broke out, okay? In fact, it was presented as if it was already being built, or it was already built, like it's already active, right? Anyway, Seyi Makinde Ibadan was one of the state governors in Yoruba land to say, never, forget it, it's not going to happen. I didn't even know that they've taken themselves to court on the matter, Baba, in Ibadan, in Oyo State. Anyway, there is a video of the same Seyi Makinde Ibadan, right, who was at an Islamic program. And according to him, you see, Sharia is not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad, as long as anybody who wants to use Sharia to settle their own dispute can indeed go and use the Sharia and go to Sharia courts. I'm telling you, Baba, honestly, see, a lot of you probably think this Satan of Yokoto and his agents and other Fulani terrorists who have been angling and then, you know, waiting in their sleeper cells to wreak whatever it is their plan for Yoruba land, to wreak their havoc, as you know. Some of you think that they are going to mount horses, or they are going to mount bikes, or they are going to come on APC, armored personnel carriers, and they're going to be shooting and they're going to be firing this or that, you know. And if they dare us, we're going to fight them and defeat them. They don't bond them well. You say Yoruba land is, some of you may be wrong. Because the destruction of Yoruba land is not really going to be the wielding of the biggest weapons, or the who has the biggest gun, or who can shoot the most, or who has the biggest or the largest soldiers. I think the destruction of Yoruba land has been orchestrated by these people, will be done internally. We have weak men leading Yoruba land. Unfortunately, their priority is not the same as what should have been the priority of their own people. But here is Seyi Makinde Ibadan on the matter, politics, explaining it away and say, well, if it's just as if to say it's actually about a dispute resolution, political Sharia.
I came back from Ghana to Ibadan 2 a.m. this morning. And about Timo Punch, I think it was Punch, I don't know. They said Governor Losi Court láti lọ ṣe interpretation the Sharia panel tí wọ́n ṣe ní Ọ̀yọ́. And first, anything they've already nínú paper yẹn, that came from my chief press secretary, CPS. Yes, I've said something to Joe, but that is not my position. My position, only pé tí thank God àwọn adájọ́ wà níbí. Anything tó bá wà nínú constitution wa, we will support. However, my own interpretation, because what is everywhere, I made a statement that I think Muslim ni wọ́n wá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n wá sí office. I made a statement pé look, we shouldn't encourage discourse, no matter how little. The interpretation lọ́dọ̀ ti tèmi ó ní pé even in our families, ó ṣe gbogbo nǹkan ni à ń gbé lọ sí court. Nínú family wa, àwọn èèyàn lè ní disagreement. The elders in the family, they call them wọ́n bá wọn dá sí. Tọ́lọ́mbà fún wọn yanjú, wọn yanjú ẹ̀. So this particular Sharia panel, my interpretation is ẹni tó bá fẹ́ patronize ẹ̀ bóyá wọ́n jẹ́ mùsùlùmí ọ̀nà mùsùlùmí tí wọ́n fi pé alternative dispute resolution mechanism ni he will help the government. He will ensure pé iye cases tó lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn adájọ́ wa ó wà reduced. So we will encourage alternative dispute resolution mechanism. The only thing tí mo lè sọ ni pé if it's something to be enforced, then àwọn tó lè enforce anything ní the court recognized by the constitution. I came back from Ghana.
You see how he was struggling, right? To actually be understood, right? How he was struggling. So those of you who don't understand the Yoruba, because he was mixing the whole thing, right? But it wasn't really making any sense. So don't think you miss out on anything. Like, I didn't understand what he's saying when he switched to that Yoruba. It wasn't making any sense. He was struggling to actually make a statement in what he said. But I can help you to understand. So Seyi Makinde is saying that the statement out there where he said, you know, there was a statement where he said there will be no Sharia courts in Oyo State. But Oyo State will only recognize what the law of Nigeria recognized as a means of dispute resolution, which is the main court. So in his own statement that is now changing, he said, well, that statement was put out by his own press secretary. Here you get now. So it wasn't him. But his own position is that, you know, if it's a Sharia, if it's just to settle dispute between people, I don't think anybody who wants to patronize them can patronize them. You know, one thing is that we should be able to learn to understand ourselves. That's what he's saying in that video. And that is also going to fuel more conspiracy theories of how many weak men are holding important public positions, traditional stools in Yoruba land, who have already been gotten to. And only a few of them are showing themselves in the public. We have no idea how many are there. Because, you see, if you are waiting for the Fulanis to land on their cows, on their horses, or be on their bikes or their vehicles to invade Yoruba land, if that is what you are expecting, then you have no idea what you are dealing with. Because rather, what they are doing is that the demystification, the destruction, right, of Yoruba land is going to be done through the same people who are supposed to protect. Yeah, who are supposed to protect whatever it is that the Yorubas hold dear and keep them together and peaceful too, right? Once those ones have been compromised, it's just going to be a matter of time before the entire land is enslaved. How do you describe this? The Emir of Iwo, I'll tell you what he says in Yoruba. I mean, I'll say it in English, okay? Listen to this one. This one is a king in Yoruba land as well.
Ẹ̀sìn tó bá ti jẹ́ tolódùmarè ọba olọba máa ṣe. Wọ́n lò ń rólé tolódùmarè. Ẹ̀sìn tí ọba wá ṣe tolódùmarè má látọ̀ ìtàn rẹ̀ fàyà. Kí ni ó yẹ kó bá ṣe? Òní ó wà sọ pé àgbáyé wà lọ́jà. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó rí yín bá wọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ń sin bàbá yín. Kí ló yẹ kó bá ṣe? Ọba ní máa pé èèyàn sọ́nà ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba. Ọba yìí pé èèyàn sídìí òòṣà. Ọba yìí pé èèyàn sídìí àkúnlẹ̀bọ míì. Àníwọ̀ lòun rólé fọ́lọ́run ọba. Ojú ti ọba títún ń rólé fún Ṣàngó ojú tọba tí ń rólé fóògùn ọba ni ẹ ń pè é sókò Ògún wà ní ọba ni ebi Ṣàngó dọ̀bálẹ̀ bẹ́ nìkan àyè bàbá rẹ̀ ọjọba níbo lẹ́tí ẹ̀ tí wá gbọ̀dé ní pé ó kọ tí ìsókọ Yorùbá Ṣàngó ìsókọ Yorùbá ó kọ lókè níbo lẹ́yìn Yorùbá tó ti gọ̀dé bí tẹ́ wá ń forí balẹ̀ fún Ṣàngó sáyé yín sọ níwò ẹ̀yin ò ní bàbá tó dúró sàkúnlẹ̀ fún abẹ́yìn so a jẹ́ pé àjòjì ni wọ́n gbé wá ní ẹ má gba ẹ̀sìn tí ìsìn ti bàbá ńlá yín ẹ̀sìn bàbá ńlá yín lónìí yìí o a ti mọ̀ pé ádámọ̀ ẹ ti sọ yìí.
nuisance lélẹ́yìí nuisance lélẹ́yìí.
He's a king. You know, this tool is one of the most very, very significant and a symbolic, and I can't even describe it, very, very historical, traditional Yoruba traditional stool. Like it's like original. It wasn't created by politicians or what have you. No. They've been like ancient. Iwo, so Olu Iwo, and this Mofo, this retired internet fraudster, Olu of Iwo, changed his title from being Olu Iwo to Emir of Iwo, beat up the kingmakers. They said he was able to bribe few of the kingmakers, right, in Iwo, that finally settled for him and lied that Oracle picked Rashidi Dangbana. Immediately, Rashidi Dangbana became their king. First, he rounded up all the kingmakers, right? Beat them up like they stole goats. True story, oh. This is not funny, oh. True story. They beat the old men, oh. I'm talking about men in their 80s, 70s, early 90s. Dangbana Rashidi, a new king, told them never to ask him to come and perform the traditional rites as a king. For he was the deities, right? And every time they continued to threaten him that they would dethrone him, and all of that, in there to let them know that he is a king now and he is Allah king. One of, I don't know how many of them who have died now, but I remember when the oldest guy, who they insisted, who they claimed, insisted that Rashidi Dangbana must be a king. They beat the man, they beat him to death. Old man, right? True story. Now that guy, a Yoruba king, is now claiming that Yorubas, that we do not have any real tradition, that worshipping deities called ancestors is like this guy Ashaj, he was supposed to be promoting the culture, the tradition of Yoruba land, the tradition, the religion of Yorubas. But he has spent all his life, since he became their king in that place, right? He has spent all his life to castigate and rubbish everything that has to do with Yoruba for his Allah. And in his palace, you will see all those bedsheet wearing, right? Dirty looking jihadists. You will see them in his palace with about 40 yards of bedsheet over their head, speaking Larubawa, while Rashidi Dangbana will be busy, right? Rapping his, what do you call it? His Jamaican cocaine-laced weed. It's crazy, and that's a king in Yoruba land, unfortunately. There are many like him, but he just took the, it's like the Portable of all the traditional kings in Yoruba land. Okay, you get now, you know Portable, Abi? Dangbana Rashidi. So he was telling his people there that Shango, a Yoruba deity, a former Alaafin of Oyo in Yoruba land, right? And historically a Yoruba man, and he is there to say Shango, whose mother was said to have been a Nupe and father an Oyo. So they said that that was him telling everybody that Shango was from Nupe. So why would you go and carve a wood and begin to worship a Shango? So you get, that was him, he was a Yoruba. And similarly, even if you know, it's the same with the citizens. Yesterday, we were all singing, and your mama be this you know, get another one. And your mama be this Today, one Agbo student nurse has come out to say that wasn't us, because the report was that, when a rat, Remi Ahmed Tifnumbu visited Delta State yesterday, that the students, the nursing students of one nursing school in Agbo, right, were those in the audience who were singing "Na Your Mama Be This You." Have you forgotten?
Oh, we now get another one. Na your mama be this one. Now our mama be this one. We now get another one. Na your mama be this one. Only me to know. Na your mama be this one. Now our mama be this one. We now get another one. Na your mama be this one. Now our mama be this one. We now get another one. Na your mama be this one. Now our mama be this one. We now get another one. Na your mama be this one. Only me to know. Na your mama be this one. Mama name.
That your mama be this year. So one lady came out, a student nurse came out to say that wasn't, number one, that wasn't Agbo. It was in Asaba, where nursing students were invited from different nursing schools in Delta State. And that when the MCs started the song, they were not singing. Millions of people appreciated what you have done. Who asked you to come out and do explanation? I mean, they don't threaten them. You be the judge. Sisi Nurse.
My name is student Nurse Chema, and I'm a student of Delta State College of Nursing Sciences, Agbo. And I'm making this video regarding the videos that has been circulating online about our president's wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, coming to Agbo. Firstly, that event was not held in Agbo. It was held in Asaba Dome Event Center. And if you look at that video closely, you will see that the location is showing Asaba. And we were not just the school present in that event. Different schools were present. My school, Delta State College of Nursing Sciences, were present. Delta State College of Nursing Sciences, Eku, Wari, I think Saplet 2 was present. School of Midwifery, Asaba, were present. Even staff nurses and midwives, they were present. Government officials were present. Our governor, his wife, different people were present at the event. That's one. Secondly, the song that the MC raised, although he asked us to sing along, but our students, we did not partake in that song. Although we were singing because he asked us to sing along, but we did not sing "Na Your Mama Be This." Please, we beg in God's name. I don't know, the girl that posted this video and captioned it that the president's wife came to Agbo, our school. Please disregard the information. She did not come to Agbo. The event was held in Asaba, and Agbo students did not partake in that song, "Na Your Mama Be This." So we beg you in God's name. They're just trying to tarnish our image. Please, I'm making this video so that whenever you come across that video, you will know that the event was not held in Agbo.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
Chioma, on behalf of the student that sang the song yesterday, we are now asking the rest of the world to please ignore you. Okay? We no send you to tell everybody, say we no sing from Agbo. So on behalf of the student of Agbo nursing school in Agbo, we say, everybody, we want you to ignore Shioma. Shioma know well. Abi Kilungwori Shioma. Who sent Shioma to come and tell us that, you know, Agbo students didn't join in the singing? Like, who are you? Song of the year. That put Shioma to back gate, Abi.
We don't get another one. Now our mama believe so. We don't get another one. Now your mama believe so. Only me to know. Now your mama believe so. Now our mama believe so. We don't get another one. Now your mama believe so. Now our mama believe so. We don't get another one. Now your mama believe so. Now our mama believe so. We don't get another one. Now your mama believe so. Only me to know. Now your mama believe so. Mama Nigeria.
Now your mama be this year, hey. Shioma, be careful. If you are watching this video, right, next time, don't ever make such video again. No, abi kilo fe fa pala pala, kilo fa nonsense. I mean, if they threaten your school, now you behave well, like be careful. It's important that we get that message across to Shioma. Nobody sent you, okay? And except if Oluremi Tinubu, now your mama be that you except. Because in Akure, the students in Akure had to stage a protest today just to tell the world what life has been like for them as a student. I mean, as students in Ondo State. Life hard, security no day, right? To the point that they have become the constant and regular victims of, you know, the insecurity, which, according to them, mostly, you know, surrounds their different campuses. And it seems the government is not doing anything. What about the cost of cost of a living crisis? Anyway, they staged a protest in Akure today that I don't know if they called the military to come there or the military just happened to be passing by. All of that put together, captured together in this clip. Please watch from Akure.
Tako ọ̀rọ̀ ìjínigbé àti ọ̀kanòjọ̀kan ìṣòro tí ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo ń kojú nílùú Àkúrẹ́ la wà báyìí. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ BBC Yorùbá ìlú Àkúrẹ́ la wà báyìí. Ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ẹ̀yẹn NAS tẹ̀ka ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo òun ni wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn ní òpópónà Ọba Adéṣídà nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Níbi tí wọ́n ti gbégi dí àwọn òpópónà náà tó jẹ́ pé kò sí ìrìnkèrindò ọkọ̀ ní òpópónà náà lọ́ọ́lọ́ tí a wà yìí. Níbẹ̀ ni a wà báyìí níbi tí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ níbi tí wọ́n ti gbégi dí òpópónà ọba Adésìdá níwájú A division nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Kí làwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ń béèrè fún? Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ń sọ wípé ọ̀rọ̀ ìjínigbé òun ni ó ń wáyé lemọ́lemọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ondo tí kò sì yẹ kí ó wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n sọ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni wọ́n lọ fún SciWes àti IT tó sì jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ń jí wọn gbé ní àsìkò tí wọ́n bá ti lọ ṣe IT yìí. Tó sì sọ pé gómìnà Lucky Orímisàn Ayédàtiwa bákan náà wípé gómìnà gbogbo ìlérí tí ó ṣe fún àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wípé kò ṣe ìmúṣẹ rẹ̀. Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ní tí wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Wọ́n sọ pé kò sí ààbò nípínlẹ̀ Ondo. Wọ́n sọ wípé àwọn iléèwé ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo ni kò dúró re. Gbogbo rẹ̀ ní àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà ni wọ́n ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn lé lórí. Láìpẹ́ yìí a ó bá alága ẹgbẹ́ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà a ó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ láti mọ ìdí gan tí wọ́n fi wà ní òpópónà ọba Adésìdá nílùú Àkúrẹ́ láti ṣe ìfẹ̀hónúhàn yìí. Ẹni àkọ́kọ́ tí a bá sọ̀rọ̀ a máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí. Àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà.
Wọ́n shoot gun. Wọ́n shoot gun. Wọ́n shoot gun. Àwọn èdè ń kọ́ sí gan ṣá.
Solidarity forever. So, what the heck, man? Soli. In 2025, Soli. I actually wish they'd never sang that, okay? Soli. Solidarity forever. After that, everybody goes back to wherever they come from. Yeah? And then the whole madness continues, you know? In Lagos State, yeah, they had, they said along Oshodi Bridge, yeah, they had some of the homeless touts, they call them touts, right, from that place, arrested. And I think a mobile court convicted them to community service or something. And just this morning, they, this homeless young men were seen carrying out that same community service. I will call it community service because that is what Tokumbo called it. Tokumbo, Wabi Wole. Not Alaji Wahab, by the way, right? This was in Lagos. And these guys were public offenders who were serving their public punishment. And it's called the public, community service it's called. that's better than sending them to Kirikiri because they can't afford 10,000 or 25,000 naira bail. I prefer that community service. If you want to punish them for anything at all, right? Community service, except those who have committed real crimes. You know, pretty much, you know, better. But maybe not to everyone. Okay, because just 2 days ago, a blogger who has been in detention for months now, right, in the police custody, right, had an August visitor, and that was Omoyele Sowore. Now, the reason why I'm going to show you this is not because we haven't seen the abuse of power by the ruiners of Nigeria for any reason. We have seen the abuse of power by the police as well. But I prefer to, I'm showing you this because I wanted to listen to what every individual in this room I was saying before Sowore and his team, right, entered them. And then they had to do what they were supposed to have done. They locked somebody up, not charge them to court, lock them up for like without bail. And then you're also preventing people from visiting them. Who does that?
We were directed from the office of the TYC to the SO to come and see you, to let us see him. You are asking for IPO again. Is yes? Okay, so what do we do? Where is the IPO? Don't you know the IPO of the people you detain here? There should be a list of the IPOs.
How will I know the IPO?
You should have it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. I'm not commanding you. I'm asking you to do your job.
Go to the office. They are handling the case. We are not allowed crowd here, please.
No. You can't tell us go and go to the office. We are entitled to see him. We are entitled to see him. Yes. How far now? Okay, that's him now.
IPO come with you.
We are not supposed to be accompanied by the IPO to see a detainee. What is all this? We are not supposed to be accompanied by the IPO to see a detainee. You know that.
Yes.
He's a detainee. He's entitled to visitation. Yes.
You can see your detainee.
Yes.
The IPO.
No,
sir.
That's not the case.
No, sir.
The only person that can direct us is the office of the SO, your station officer.
No, sir.
And he has come. He has asked us to come and see him. What is all this?
Only see you are suspect.
No, it's not true.
Okay, sir, force me.
I'm not going to force you.
Then.
But what you are doing is irresponsible.
Yes, sir.
Just let us see somebody. You are asking us to bring IPO. What is the meaning of bringing IPO? So just to visit somebody who is entitled to visitation. And we have seen the 2IC to the SO. Is it not the station manager that is in charge? Bring IPO. What is the meaning of going and bring IPO? What is the job of That's him now. I want to see Timothy Gabriel. That's who we are going to. We have seen your 2IC, the 2IC to your SO. There's no need for any IPO to come and see. No need for all those things now, right? He's entitled to visitation, even if he's just a regular person.
And so this is the idea of the IPO. It's just one, the IPO you're talking about is
Don't worry.
You go to the IPO, come and tell us, come back here, don't worry.
No, they are doing it just to prevent somebody from seeing him now.
You know the antics.
How are you? Yeah.
I'm supposed to carry your phone from the
Take my phone from again. Why?
You're not supposed to call me with your phone.
Why? No. Why wouldn't I be able to come to my phone? Don't you guys use phones here yourself?
No, I don't.
That was a blogger that got detained, was in charge to court. His family members were denied access to him. Visitation is not allowed, and they continue to use different excuses for why they couldn't see him. But they ended up seeing him, right? And the police, the judiciary working hand in hand in locking up Nigerians, illegally though, right? So it seems to be like a pandemic, sort of, right? Anyway, that was a show. It won't settle for less. As those who are calling Tinubu is a terrible president, hashtag Tinubu is a terrible president, 30 days rant challenge and name it. And, you know, they won't settle for less. When you look at those who are pushing these rants, of course, Raye, the young woman that started it and got vilified, you know, on social media, got trolled. Now, our campaign has yielded one very good result, that some people have now started confirming that they've received their, or they have started receiving their own 77,000 naira minimum. I mean, Alawi. Those who trolled her, those who threatened her, are pretty much not going back to say, oh, thank you, Raye. It is 30 days run challenge. Others, if they have sorted you, the youth corpers, but there are those who are not on the payroll of the government, and they still have to make ends meet in that same system. So to them, the 30 days run challenge actually continues. And when it finishes, they are going to take it to the next one, which they call the physical, right? The physical demand for something better. And it's not just going to be a rant. It's probably going to be a rush somehow. Listen to this one from one of the rants.
Hi guys, good morning. I did a video earlier and I don't know what I pressed and it just went off like that. So I'm going to be among those doing the 30 days run challenge. Sorry about that, my battery. And I'm going to start with a particular thing. You guys, I have 3. The other one is very far from me. Let me get it. I have 3 power banks, and this one is off. This one is off. This 37%. Look at how I'm sweating. This one alone is evident. You see that weapon fashion against my phone? I want to post this thing today. You people keep taking down my videos. God will punish all of you. God will punish all of you. Because people will not see truth and say it. Me, I will say it. Data is expensive. Food is expensive. Fuel is expensive. Pure water is expensive. Roadside foods are expensive. What else? Roll on. Everything down to pants. You cannot get pants of 500 naira again. Even okrika. Argue with your father. You cannot get an okrika 500 naira pants. You cannot get it. Even normal okrika clothes you are managing, you cannot see the one of 5,000 naira again. 5,000 naira. Yes, you heard me right. Bruh. Everything is expensive. The basic things that we are supposed to be affording, we cannot afford them. We cannot afford them. If you go to the market and buy meat of 1,000 naira, what's the law? You're just buying adding water to your soup, because if you blend that meat, it will not even be up to that water use and cook that soup or anything. Our country is fucked up, is messed up, is in total. Who have watched all of us are dead. Let this country just come out onto zombie. I'm not laughing. I'm not even joking. I'm just, you know, when a situation will just start making you laugh. Yes, that is the situation I am in now. This country is in disaster. It's terrible. It's horrible. Yeah. All of those, anything bad that you can think of, that is how the country is right now. Like, the country is that thing you're thinking of now. Yes, it's that thing. is nothing good. It is that thing. Because now let's talk about bank charges. Nobody has said it. Bank charges are not, they did not even come to play. You see the way they'll be collecting your money small. You will have 10,000 naira. You say, okay, let's do transfer. Let's do transfer of 1,000 naira. I'm not supposed to have 9,000 naira left. Why will you be having 8,900 and hey, it's not 10 naira charge again. 1,018 10 naira charge. Yes, okay, let's say 8,900 that you'll be having instead of 9,000 naira. It is that bad. The thing that is even paining me, see data. Jesus, data is expensive. I remember when I can use 100 naira and stream online. At that time, it was just Visitor, the Visitor and all those small. You use 100 naira, 100 MB and stream it. Can't we go back to those times? Can't we go back? And I'm even going to talk about these hypocrites on TikTok and social media. You see somebody coming out to pour out their anger. You people open your stinking mouth to say rubbish about the person. You people are that bad. You people are even the ones that even used to bring down Nigeria more and more. I remember my dear Jonathan. That man, God will bless you. Your children's children will never lack. They will continue. You see everything good in this life. We find you, Mr. Jonathan, ex-president.
In the time of poverty like this, the economic principle of Yusuf is what everybody should apply in his own lives. Eat little, save more. You don't know what is happening. Kese la nri lowo, makasakasa timbo. $1 was just 800 naira or thereabout a couple of months ago. Now $1 is over 1,000 naira. How much will it go? Nobody knows. Tori to nse falafulu. Ogba salary kilawa. Igberaga week. Ogbera resanle like. Eat little and save more. Aye ta nje chicken kola wayi ma. Aye shawarma koma. Aye ice cream ko. Mugari. Jekpama gbàgbé táwọn doctors sọ pé kò ní nutritional value. Kí ló fẹ́ nutritional value pẹ̀lú kíni? Jekpama mugari orí ẹja wallahi kò rẹ́rìn. Bó bá lọ ṣe falafolo pẹ̀lú owó ìyà ó jẹ ọ́ bákan. This is the time to save more. Kálukú ló mọ tí ń san lówó school àwọn ọmọ níṣẹ́. I started by paying 25,000 naira per term 2 years ago. Last year, 50,000. Wallahi, this year is 100,000 per child. Now, imagine having 4 kids going to school and I have to pay over 1.2 million naira in a year. Divide my salary in a year by 2. How much will remain? Gas is in Benley. Pampers in Benley. Emino so my boy yin ra fila yin ra so. Mbo ni ka fi gbogbo yin si ibadallah. So this is the time to apply the basic principle of economics of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Save more, eat a little. Somebody told me there is nothing to save. I told him you are a liar. Where do you get money to buy data and check Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram? You are on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. You are everywhere. And you say there is nothing to save. The money you use to buy data, save it. Do you need data?
Let be poor. Breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
Let the poor breathe. If there's something that I wanted to say, if there's something the young Nigerians have managed to do for themselves, I realized that this is not even about young Nigerians. It's about Nigerians using the internet, the social media, where they are creating content that somehow they have been able to make money from and at least keep their heads above water in this drowning Tifnubunomic. But that data now has become gold. It's like they've come for you too. All of them are where they make videos on TikTok, videos on, yeah, sure you get. Those of you who have not, where you never eat them, maybe there's a word. Those of you who never blow. That you see, you have to be checking your data. Oh, 5 gig, 10 gig, 10 gig, 10 gig, 5,000 naira. Man, which kind of country is this? 10 gig. 10 gig is now 15,000 naira. Oh my God, what kind of a country is this? I just loaded 15,000 naira 2 days ago, and now it's almost like finished. You know that? So it is like Nigeria. Well, it is not like Nigeria is a weapon fashioned against all of us. Well, some of us seems to have, you know, maybe some audacious kind of grace to shield us from the big bang, the pang of Tifnobunomic. So those of you who are making little money for yourself on TikTok or here and there, or you are looking forward to the time you are going to blow with this Tifnobunomic, majority of you, your career will just have to die before they even start at all. Can you imagine? Like, the career died before it even started. Effect of what Tifnobu and gang are doing. Effect. Yeah. We have, you know, I don't know if some of you have experienced that too, right? We have this old student WhatsApp group. How many of you have been added to different old students, secondary school, university, or, you know, your old students association or old students WhatsApp group? Have you ever been in such group where some set of guys are pro Laba, Bala, blue. Like they are there defending Tifnumbu. Here you get that Tifnumbu has done very well. Some people are just haters. Some people, no matter what Tifnumbu do, even if Tifnumbu give them their head, they will still never appreciate the man. And you are just seated in that group, in that old student group, and you're just like, if I should say my mind, man. You get? And then they had to call all of us and say, the same person who was fighting for Tifnumbu, right? Blaming the Igbos. Like, more people did there, we say that they, like, not on social media, this is WhatsApp group, close group. And they're still there blaming the Igbos. It'll be this and that. And that is when you will know that something has happened to us as a people in Yoruba land because of this miscreant, this Omo Alede days, parading themselves as Seronokus, the Ronu Nazis. They are everywhere. To them, Tifnubu has done so well. Now, just some people don't like him. The country is better now. Seriously. Then this same guy turned around and he started messaging everybody that, you know, he wanted to share a message. It's very important. And we should do something about it soon. Because me, I belong to one, you get. And to me, right, I actually had the mindset of, true story, I said to the president of our own student, I said, I don't know why everybody is in a group as old students, because usually some of us will never make up, like me now. I am not looking forward to any old student reunion, because it will just be like, say, Omo, Jesus, you know, that kind of thing. But nevertheless, I am still very much like a very heavy giver, like heavy. I give heavily, contributing to this. So I suggested, I said, we have a few of us who live abroad here. Now, if we all just decide to be, you know, just give like maybe $100 or £100. So if I give £100, that's like 200,000 naira. If I give 200 or if I give £300, right, that's like over 600,000 naira. So we can be helping ourselves. All of us who are old students here, right? Like, people are going through a lot too. I suggested that. Then I now realized that almost half of us, or 1/3 of us, are Ronukus. You know that level where you are about to start arguing with a Ronuku in a what's supposed to be an old student association WhatsApp group, right? So when I discovered that, I just stayed away. So long story short, I now saw a message, I think it was 2 days ago. where one of us, this particular guy, started asking us that people are going through a lot. Our people are going through a lot too. So I just wanted to suggest to this our group, at least what is the purpose of this group? If we can help other people struggling. These are people who were doing fine on their own before Tifnubu. They were all right too. They don't beg anybody for money or for anything or rent too. Within that same group, right? Even though I don't kiss and tell, by the way, but I know how many people have actually had to clear their rent, their emergency money, this for that money. Since you join, they have your contacts. It's no longer about Facebook or Twitter. It's just like direct messages to you. So it was easier. And I've always been, I'm a cheerful giver when I have. When I don't kind of push it. So you know that a lot of people are going through a lot. People are, don't be saying they're jobless, so then get job. I'm talking about people who have jobs, but whatever they are being paid can no longer take care of them. They are now running in debt. Some of them are borrowing money to pay another debt. And when you ask them, how much are you owing? I am owing 150,000 naira. And their mind, the fear, you can feel the fear in their voices when they are telling you about what they are going through. How much is the money? It's 200,000. I said, because of 200,000 naira. How much is the money? It's 55,000 naira. Because of 55,000 naira. And you are almost acting like your life is a life and death thing. So you get. So this person who knows that people are going through hell is doing a free defense job for this same APC. He's still telling people, you will cry. People, all of you do. I know the way you are talking. It's like you are supporting the Igbos. The first day I saw that, I was like, what the heck, man? Like what the hell is wrong with this guy? The way you are talking, I know that the way you are talking, you are supporting the Igbo. The Igbos can never share. The Igbos want to take over our land. I was like, what? This is not Facebook. Oh, it wasn't. I'm talking about old student association, old student WhatsApp group. One or two of them probably will see my video on this matter because I was reading it. I just looked away. Here you get. So we have people like that who goes about, who knows the truth. But somehow, as they are programmed, they will defend this. And honestly speaking, I pray that everything goes on well for him, and hopefully things continue to, things gets back to normal. That he will never, for any reason, need a financial support himself. You get what I mean? So this is the reality. This is what a lot of you are kind of pretending about, and hopefully somebody somewhere is going to subsidize your role in enabling these criminals, because that's what you're doing. You know the truth. Somehow, something inside you that has made you a voluntary slave who always want to stand up and defend the same people who put you in that same financial situation. A crazy world. So I saw Tifnubu today with, what's that guy's name? Mahama. That's the Ghanaian new president, right? He was in Nigeria this afternoon. It's called...
Thank you, sir.
Twofold, to thank him for the honor done me during my inauguration, but also to brief him on a visit I made to the Sahelian countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and to bring him up to date with some of the issues that I discussed with him. As ECOWAS chairman, it's my duty to come and brief him on some of the concerns that were raised there, so that we continue to see how to dialogue with those other countries.
Most definitely, sir. The region will be willing to have the 3 Sahelian countries back. Any good news from them?
Well, it's a complicated situation, and it's not as easy as we might think, but we just need to continue to dialogue and see how we can continue to cooperate together.
Excellency, what do you feel with the feedback you got from these countries?
I feel good. That's easier in the first place, and I'm indeed very happy of the effort is made to have a bridge between the AES countries and the ECOWAS. It's not a bad idea for us because of the security situation in the Sahel region and what economic opportunity that we must embark to ensure security of life and properties of our citizens. The innocent people in this episode are the citizens of those countries. Not much about us, the leadership. The citizens must be the first, beneficiary and the first part of reasons together.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you. All right. Take care.
Nuisance leleyi. Nuisance leleyi.
Of course, now, are you surprised in it? Nuisance native number now, you don't know. That's the nuisance in charge of that contraption. And yeah, the apple, they don't fall far from the tree right now. So you can tell that's the guy in charge of Nigeria, the man that broke up ECOWAS because of France, was ready to attack his own neighbor. Subjected the women and children in Niger Republic to, agony, violence, and death before he got exposed and the plan got truncated. Don't ever forget that. That's called the divided ECOWAS. Now he's now having Ghana telling that they are working to see how they can bring the AES countries, which are Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, Guinea, and where else again? Who have now formed their own economic bloc after Tinubu's sanction. Can you imagine? Tinubu became the head of ECOWAS, or what do they call them there? Chairman of ECOWAS and the president of ECOWAS, whatever. And he broke the entire organization into pieces within the first 1 month. And similarly, he has been destroying that same contraption from day one, then doubling down to make you believe that you are the one who has a problem. You are the one who don't understand his idea, Tinubu's strategy. You remember that time? I don't want to sit down here and release all my strategy. The strategy is now what is pushing Nigeria, right, further into poverty and insecurity.
I don't want to sit here and reveal all my strategy. I am the first speaker among the 3 of us running. So they will spy on me. So you will have a limited answer here today. Another day you can bring me back. But that's part of what I do.
That's part of what like that. Anyway, thanks so much for your time again, brethren. I have had a wonderful time as usual, even though we are not having our extended chat to the full hour, but we'll do that some other time, okay? So I want to say again, thank you for spending your evening with me. But remember, your night or your evening is not really complete without your offering. And that is on YouTube, like the broadcast, share the broadcast, okay? And yeah, subscribe to the channel. I will see you again, brethren, and that will be tomorrow. So until then, Stay safe. Take it easy. Okay? And don't ever stop watching Mayegun. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun Diary political. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràjò. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ̀ lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.